I'm Elwirfy and today we're playing some more Napoleon Total War 3. This is an incredible mod, guys. Absolutely love it. We're currently going to be looking at a giant 4v4, and I am not in this battle. That's right, I had no part in this battle at all. This is just a replay from some other people, and of course at the start of the game we're going to get a little bit of lag, but no problem. Hopefully you guys can actually hear me, because I've been getting some comments recently that the sound's been a bit off, so I've reduced the sound of the gameplay, and I'm going to maintain the voice, my own voice. I'm not going to yell or anything like that. That'd be a little bit ridiculous. In any case, we're going to go ahead and see that Austria is pushing up straight ahead. But what I thought was interesting about this battle right from the onset, again, this is my first time looking at it, I noticed that way over here, that Russia has just got a bunch of cav. No, sure, they have 3 infantry units, but mostly cavalry. I'm not sure that I would have necessarily done that, but, up to them. Their choice. So we have the UK helping out Russia, and then we also have the Swiss. In fact, you don't get to see very often here, but, I like to think the Swiss are pretty darn cool troops, if I do say so myself. And then also we have the main Swiss army going to be taking the center. Austria, kind of be pretty similar with the, what's the word? The Swiss. Going to be using regular formations. Again, they're going to be taking on the Swedes, the Spanish, actually another Spanish, so 2 Spanish factions, and Westphalen. Oh, those Westphaleners. I'm not a big fan of their faction. But as you can see, as the troops get more revealed, because of course in this mod you can only see one half of the battlefield at a time, we do see a lot of cavalry pushing up to go meet the Austrian cav here. So this might be where we get our first engagements. Let's check this out. Yep. So yeah, I'm not sure what part of the battle I should cover or what I shouldn't, but this seemed to be the good place to start. So again, we do have that cavalry moving up now. Okay. Excellent cavalry charge. That'll instantly break those Westphalen cav. Very exciting. And oh, does look like there are some hidden Westphalen cav. They're actually flanking around. They're going to get into the backs, but they are hit by a counter charge. So very good use of cavalry on by Austria. Westphalen getting their cav separated like that, not very good. As you guys know, I'm not very good with my own cavalry usage, but I'm sure it'll get better at some point. And speaking of cavalry, we have some Spanish cav here, meeting up with the Swedish cav in the middle, asserting their dominance. Oh, there's some artillery explosions here, because the English have set up a 9-pounder, 9-pounder artillery here. That's going to be protected by some foot, as well as some Highlanders, so pretty good way to open up the battle with some artillery at the very least. As you can see, the Swedes are starting to push up their ranks. A majority of them stay into the front in order to combat the presumed eventuality of the Westphalen and Spanish over on this flank. And you'll notice over here in the back that all the Russian cav seem to be moving around, so I'm not quite sure what they have planned here, but certainly this general right here, he's got to be concerned about, about where to go, about where troops are going to be held up at. I mean, the British are sending over some troops to help, but really that's not important. I would argue that if you're going to abandon a side, don't even bring these guys here. I mean, look, you can stall as much as you want in Napoleon, but ultimately the bigger army will beat the smaller army. That's kind of how it goes. You really need good positioning to really kind of change that, or at least in my experience, that's generally what happens. So I think that small force over there is probably going to have a problem. Now, it looks like it's pretty quiet so far. It looks like it's pretty quiet. Again, this is going to be a long replay, everyone, as you all probably know, because that is how Napoleon Total War 3 goes about. Oh, and we see the Swedish here have some 6-pounder, 2 6-pounder artillery here that are going to be setting up, unlimbering right now, that are going to be behind their lines. It's a shame they couldn't get up to this hill, but, you do what you got to do. As we can see here, oh, it looks like the Swedish cavalry, yes, this is Swedish. That's Switzerland. Sorry, Swedish and Switzerland. I'm going to mess it up a lot. We've taken the buildings up. Oh, a building has been taken. Very good. I'm sure that's those Russians. Oh, and we get some cavalry being gunned down by the artillery here. So that's not fun. Where? Oh, I hear a cav charge. Yep. Epic cav charge. Is this cavalry going to respond in any way? Chasseurs à cheval. Come on. You going to charge back? Counter charge. Oh, it's a little late. I don't know. Yeah, pretty even cav charge. The artillery is now very vulnerable, but the Swedish cav is actually breaking on this side. So, of course, that cavalry is going to help. The infantry is now moving over.
We have killed their general, sir.
Looks like they're forming square, but I don't think that's quite, they were just a little slow. But fortunately, this artillery does look like it's going to be okay. Not actually sure who I should root for, to be honest. Oh, so these troops over here are going to be opening fire at this cavalry. Nothing out of the ordinary. Looks like everything's going to be dying down now. And I'm going to stay mostly zoomed out for this battle, guys, because there's so much going on. Plus, for the battle replay, getting these nice graphics, when you zoom in, it makes it a little more laggy. Okay, here looks like the Spanish troops finally lining up now. If I hit the spacebar, I can see. So, who sent this in? The Russian player sent this in, and this is a Russian. The Russians replay, and the cavalry have arrived. Yay! I don't know what their plan is here. This seems like a lot of cavalry purchased. You got to be doing some pretty crazy tactics. And look, the Spanish cav seem to be over here, but I don't see any troops yet. I don't see any troops. Although, if I zoom in, I can hear that they're marching. So there's clearly an army here. So it's not like they're not there. And the British are sending out some lines to, I guess, stall. That doesn't seem like the best strategy. Oh, but what's this? The cav charge over here in the back of the Austrians. I don't know how that snuck around. Probably routed and came back. That's most likely the reason. But it will be dealt with quite easily. Now, it does look like one artillery did manage to get routed, however. But with 10 crew left, half their crew, I bet they'll come back. I'm sure they would. Although I'm not going to guarantee anything. Okay, so looks like over here the Swedish are now finally setting up, getting a nice long line. Excuse me. And the artillery are still being able to shell away at the troops out here. A little bit of a slow advance. Looks like the Austrian and Russian team are going to be the more defensive of the players, except for Westphalen, getting those nice long lines. Now, can these units here form square? No, one of them can. The middle one can. The edge one can form square. Can he form square? Yes. So this cavalry force of Russian cav is going to be just going right past him. Oh, let's see. Are these guys going to get some volleys off? I don't know. Oh, a little bit of shots, but not really going to hurt those cavalry. So now there's cavalry behind the armies. Oh, and he did form square. That's nice. Probably because of this cavalry coming over here. Are they charging something? Oh, they're charging the artillery of the Spanish. Pretty good. And then the Russian cav should get out of there. Yep, because they're forming square. All right. Looks like artillery is being lost on both sides here, but of course the Swedish still have their artillery. The whole game seems a little quiet, actually. But yeah, whatever. I'd rather you guys can hear what I'm saying and explaining to you rather than, just game sound effects. Anyway, so Spanish cav kind of hanging out in the middle, probably scouting more than anything else because of the fog of war that happens. I'm really curious about what this Russian cav is going to do, though. That's what I want to see happen. Let's see here. Oh, so the Spanish seem to be in a bit of a blob. They seem to be a little undecisive. This isn't a good sign. Maybe they're moving up. But this cavalry is going to be charging straight up towards the Westphalen. They're going to get some good shots. How many troops of theirs can form square? Not many of them. Actually, this is going to be a perfect target for this cavalry if they actually manage to climb up the hill. Now, with the Westphalen moving up to the ridge, they are going to have, they got a pretty good angle on that cav. So this cavalry will really need to hang out below in this area. If they stop here, and duck from the gunfire, then charge over, they might do a little bit better. But here we go. Uh-oh, we have a sound glitch, I think. Oh, nope, now it's coming back. Massive cavalry charge again. They can't form square, so
our men are running.
Vulnerable. But the Russian cav, the first one that charged in, is going to break unsurprising with the square in the back. This might have been a bit of a bad capture. Oh, wait, the Russian cav are coming from the rear. Oh, boy, with a double cav can ultimately win a battle for you. However, with this much cav, I'm not sure. Even the square formation is vulnerable because the square formation can only last so long against this many cav. And look at that, the Westphalen are completely breaking. It's shattered like the whole army. It's incredible. I don't actually know what to what you would do to defend this, because again, they can't form square. The Grenadiers can't. Quick, are they going to? The Grenadiers going to form square? They probably should. Please don't form up. Okay. A little bit of cav. They still have time to form square.
Running,
I'm sure they'll be fine if you just form square now. That doesn't seem to be what's happening. Looks like they're forming up, trying to open fire, but I wouldn't do that. You're going to lose your Grenadiers. Grenadiers are expensive. Oh, no. Looks like they're going to just break. And that is like going to pretty much take out an entire army. Wow, the Russians doing a good job with their cav. Very well done. And oh, even over here we have Austrians who are destroying some Westphalen cavs who couldn't even reinforce themselves. Wow, this is an incredible tactic, actually. Maybe I should try doing that with the Russians. Maybe Russian cav strat is a better way to play the game than I thought. And now you can see there with some more Russian cav moving up on the flanks here. Do we have any more troops
The men
firing?
are fatigued, sir, and must rest a while.
We see that the Sweden is going to be over here, and we do have some gunshots. Got to get kind of close to the men to hear the gunshots, but pretty good volleys from some light infantry opening fire from the British. This is going to be the first real line infantry engagement, I think. Oh, and what's this? Hold up, I just looked at my mini-map. Looks like there's some horsemen coming around the back side of these forces, these British troops. They can form square, so they're probably not going to get charged. If I was the Spanish, I'd probably just continue walking around and ignore them. Yep, they're preemptively forming square. Also, they get a range bonus when they're in square, so not even necessarily horrible. Could send this cav over. Although this entire army is going to be at a bit of a disadvantage. As you can see, there's this giant gap between the armies, which, while it's nothing really to oppose it, it still will take time to reinforce. Again, check it out. We got these troops just getting destroyed. Well, not destroyed, but I mean, they're taking hits for no reason. They don't need to do that. They need to advance. Oh, now they're finally opening fire. Very well done indeed. Very good shots. So, looks like it's going pretty well. Who are they? The Swiss. The Swiss are now getting ready to flank the Swedish. Wait, is Sweden Yeah, because Swiss is short for Switzerland, and the Swedish is short for Sweden. Whatever. Anyway, the Russian cav kind of doing some cleanup here. Looks like they're going to probably start heading down, which isn't bad. These units can form square, those units can form square. Looks like a lot of the Spanish troops can form square, though, so if I was them, I'd probably take this cavalry and either run it back through your own lines to charge...
The men are fatigued, sir, and must rest a while.
To charge the the people from Sweden. Yeah. The Swedish. Or go all the way around and attack the Spanish from their flanks. Now, there are some troops that can't form square, but they're pretty well guarded, and Austria, again, moving up the majority of its army to combat the Spanish, which is probably going to be the best bet. Again, a lot of the line battle is happening right here. Again, the sound being a little quiet. Maybe I'll turn up the sound for the next battle. I'll need your guys' opinion. Does it sound too quiet? Or maybe it's also a sound glitch from the replay. That could also be it. Anyway, the Swedish are finally moving up. They're going to start engaging. This probably should have happened a little bit faster, in my opinion.
Must rest a while.
I'm a big fan of getting everyone up to see how, there's troops in reserve or whatever. I don't think you even need to bother with that, because the less guns you have firing at one time, then the worse your rate of fire is going to be, the less damage you can do in a quick time span. And this unit's getting destroyed. I don't know what the British are doing. Having all the men spread out. I don't know. It seems like you'd want to keep your men together in order to have a good flank. Oh, but he doesn't like that. He's Swedish is still pulling back. Not too horrible. We got Spanish cav here running around the outside. Seems like they're just doing a bit of cleanup here. And what I'm curious about is how quickly this army will link up with the rest, because that's the true key. Now we see that the Russian cav is doing, they're doing what I thought they might have been doing. They're going around the Spanish, but they're not going through the woods, which is smart because cav moves slower that way, as evidenced by this cav here, which, while they are moving, they're not necessarily going at the best speed. And the Spanish see this, I think, so they're going to be pulling back, which is fine for the Austrians. Austrians can move up. No problem with that. And the British over here really seem to be getting the brunt of this engagement, which is a little unfortunate for them. Let's take a look from the Swedish perspective over here. The light infantry seem to be doing okay, although the advantage of light infantry is that they shouldn't be getting shot. So in my opinion, if you're going to have use light infantry at all, pull them back and order an attack order on them, so that way they can outrange these King's German Legion. Because while the King's German Legion is good, they will ultimately beat this light if they stay in a prolonged engagement. However, the combined forces of the light and the line infantry from the Swedish are breaking the 51st Foot Infantry, and the Russian cav still going over here. Oh, wait. I see a massive amount of... where'd they go? I saw cavalry. Never mind. I guess it's just a square formation. Now, this square formation, I understand why it's there, but square formation actually, it turns out, is not as good as one would think in a melee infantry. And now they're just going to get shot to death. There's no reason for the Swedish to engage. The Swedish should not engage in melee. Now, the question is, I think that the 91st Foot will be able, the Highlanders will be able to do a good job? Maybe? I'm not too sure. These infantry seem like a little bit stronger, especially since they're taking all that charge. And they're going to break. Yep, not good. That should have been held back. I don't know what England's doing. Oh, but we do have a very nice cav charge here on these lights. These lights should go down pretty quick. As we've seen in the past of this battle, cavalry is a very good tool, but sadly the cavalry will also be breaking. And now the English are able to get some free shots, although this unit looks like it's been taking a bit of damage. And what's the Swedish doing here? Why are they all in a column formation? They're not going to get anything done like that at all. They need to be more like their Spanish allies. You know, not super thin lines, but at least three thick lines. And now the Spanish are falling back again. They know what's coming. They don't want to be destroyed by the Russian cav. Although the Russian cav seem to be just waiting. It's not like they're in that much of a rush, it would seem. Not much of a rush. Oh, but what's over here? Because I noticed there were some dots blinking. Looks like the Russians and the British are moving up on this Spanish player. Again, with the Spanish now being able to get closer, I don't think that the Russian-British Austrian alliance is necessarily doing a very good job of keeping these armies separated, especially now with them getting the British, for some reason. Look, see, these guys are still in the square, and I get that there's a lot of guys to manage on the battlefield, but England specifically really needs to get a handle of its troops. Because I feel like even though the Russian cav did a good job taking out Westphalen, England isn't really doing much in this battle. What do they really have for England? Not too much. Unless there's some hidden units I haven't spotted yet. It's really going to come down to this Austrian and Russian sweep across down the left flank. Maybe the Spanish over here will be able to help out in time, but the British forces, one thing they are doing, which I do think is worthy of pointing out, is they are slowing down the advance of the Spanish, which gives time for the Russians to regroup around. Now the Swedish, they should just be holding. You know, they have no reason to advance. They need to wait for their Spanish ally to come around. And actually, what's interesting is we could see this turn to an S shape, and the Spanish could go this way while the Russians go this way, almost like a circle. And we could see a whole flipping and switching of sides. So over here, we do have a bit of a line battle over here. We got some British forces here. Are they actually going to fire, though? That's the question. Are they in range? I don't think so. Oh, I spoke too soon. They actually are in range. But the overwhelming amount of Spanish here should be a Spanish victory. I'd pull back. Again, if I was them, as much as it is nice to slow down the Spanish, you know what? It just seems like maybe that isn't quite the best strategy. Oh, look at this. The Spanish actually formed a bit of a concave here. Going to make it harder for the Austrians to really push. Now, again, they are a little cut off here. The Spanish are holding in this town fairly well.
Sir, our general is under attack.
There's no points in this battle, so it doesn't really matter if you take buildings or not. This is just simply an army elimination. And there's still a lot of battle left to get to. And in a 4v4, I'm going to try and stay high above this guy for the most part until we can look at the tactics themselves. Because you'll notice the Russian cav is piling up here, but they seem to be uninterested in actually going over the hill. You know, the Russian cav could take this hill line and ultimately trap them. Now, it does look like Austrian cav are going for a charge here. Let's see if they do it. This unit can form square, but they're not. Spanish player must not have been paying attention. Now that'll severely hurt.
This building has fallen to the enemy.
Yep, as you would assume, these other units are forming square. Maybe these guys are even going to form square. Nope, it was an unsuccessful cav charge. Again, cavalry, not going to be very useful against units that can form square without, you know, at the very least, infantry support. So the Russian army, again, being mostly a cavalry army, needs to run around. Because I think if they wait too long, they could end up going from an imbalanced game to a balanced game simply because of the fact of how much walking Austria has to do to really get formed up, which will give time for this Spanish player over here to be able to link back up, which which is not what they want to do. Look, Spanish forces already coming after the British, and the British are going to need to be relying heavily on the Switzerland people, or the Swiss, you know. And while they do have artillery firing, and it's presumably doing a decent job, although I don't see that the artillery is making that much of an impact on this battle, considering how many forces there actually are, which is a little bit of a shame. Now we do see some shots coming from the light infantry here. Going to be getting some free kills, so that's always nice to see. But I don't think I don't know. I'm a little skeptical of the Russian alliance because they're taking their time. They're going too slow here, and plus, remember they have this hill advantage. I don't know. Wait, why is Sweden running away? They should not be doing that, because Sweden had the hill advantage. They have no reason to retreat. Even if the Russian cav are coming down, that won't be for a while. It's really going to be up to the Spanish to deal with the cav. And even while the Spanish are forming their lines back up, this is a lot of cav, and I don't think the Spanish are really going to be able to fight all of Austria, as well as the Russian cavalry, or I guess it is just Russia. But if you look on the mini-map, actually, and I'll even expand it. Oh, the dog is speaking to me. How fun. If you look at the mini-map itself here, you'll see that we'll get it. Make sure you guys can see the battlefield. You can see that the, hold on one second, guys. Sorry about that. Just had to deal with stuff. Anyway, it looks like the Russian alliance is making a concave around the Swedish-Spanish alliance, but because of this area up north, these Spanish units up here, if you can see my map, could flank around and ultimately take out this Russian alliance. So that's why these cavalry over here, they need to be moving into the back somewhere. Ideally right here to, again, cut this army off from this army, making this surround a lot easier, regardless of whatever happens with these middle forces. These middle forces just need to hold their line, advance and kill as they can, but I think that the battle really comes to this cavalry. And ultimately, these units will be defeated. I'm surprised they're holding as long as they are. As soon as these units up here fall, the blue forces here will come in, and then this cav will be rendered almost useless. So that's what I think needs to happen. Obviously, there could be cav presence in the middle. Again, we have a very vicious line battle going on right now between the Austrians and the Spanish. And yep, the cavalry is moving forward, but they're just going a bit too slow. Not something ideal. Now, how's the battle actually going over this side? Because over there on the other side, obviously, it's just line battles. This one looks like they're holding. Looks like the Spanish. You'll notice that their units aren't necessarily getting the best shots. These units aren't engaging, which means these units can't are unable to abandon. So actually, by not fighting, this helps the Russians and the British. These Spanish units need to go in. They can 2v1 all of them. They even have cavalry. I don't know what the Spanish player is doing. Probably some micro over here. You will notice that the Spanish are sending forces backwards, so that is fine. And, oh, looks like oh, never mind. I see what the Spanish player is doing. They're completely falling back. If you're the Spanish and you really want to fall back, I'd fall up onto this hill and keep your cavalry here to block this choke point. That way, at the very least, the Russian cavalry would have to go even further in order to be useful. But again, that's not really what's happening. It looks like the Spanish forces are just kind of all going towards the same area. And this line battle is really heating up now. And you'll notice the Austrians actually seem to be losing the battle a little bit, but they do have reserves they can always bring in, so this is going to be quite a while. Again, this middle section, oh my goodness. Would you look at that? The Austrians are actually not doing as good as I thought. Must be because the Spanish line infantry must be pretty elite compared to the Austrians. Austrians would be more famous for having lots of line infantry. So, oh, hold on. I hear a charge of some sort. What's going on? Was I right to hear a charge there? Oh, the blue troops are falling back, but that's not a charge. Not really much of a melee fight. Not really a big deal. Again, this is just going to be a giant line battle. Oh, looks like the Spanish are actually losing over here. See, again, this is why you got to get all your units engaged. Not these two units right here are not firing.
Our men are running, sir.
In any case, looks like we have a massive cav charge here. Is this really going to work out? I don't know. This cavalry is really good. The Spanish cav is going to be a test to see if the Russian cav can really be as useful as I thought. See here, look, all this Russian cav is failing to this one Spanish cav. And if they don't bring in their... Yep, Austria helping out. Very good. Oh, and these infantry who can form square should be forming square. Yep, they're forming square. You should also get as far in as you can and form square in order to help block this Russian cav and Austrian cav from getting in there. Of course, now the Spanish cav are finally breaking. Might have been a little too late. This infantry, of course, forming square. And this will give time for the Austrians to move up their forces to open fire. And then this cav needs to bail. They need to run. Even if they got to run into the backs of the Swedish, they got to get out of there. Because they do not want to stick around here. Oh, look, Austrian cav running into a square. That's pretty much going to kill the... You don't want to do that. Austria now pushing on this flank. Going to be kind of an even match. Well, these guys have a little bit of a high ground advantage, possibly. Oh, looks like actually Spanish are going to be falling back here. Looks like the line battle is going quite well for the Austrians. Probably, maybe these guys are tired. Either way, there is going to be a little bit of a building battle here. Taking this center point. Probably more just...
Our men are running for...
More to just kick the Spanish out of the building rather than necessarily for captured points. Because again, as I mentioned, capture points don't matter. Huge amount of cavalry breaking on both sides. Russian well, the Russians are actually just running out of forces. Now this little countercharge might be useful. The morale is dropping, probably because of shots being fired. Now, they're not committing. Oh, they're not committing because that finally broke. Okay. So it looks like the Austrians are doing a good job of encircling the troops, although I would perhaps send this unit back here. I don't know if maybe not hasn't noticed it, to just kind of fill in this little hole here a little bit easier. Again, the Swedish and the Swiss just kind of duking it out. Nothing unorthodox. The British could get outflanked in a moment, but again, because of this battle up here, which surprisingly, the Spanish have not won. I think it's because of a lack of aggression from the Spanish. That's really the reason why these troops are able to hold out so long. And this is what the Russian team needed to stall. And look, there's still more Russian cav. And there's Russian cav all the way out there. There's plenty of cavalry in order to help out, which means that this push up here, while it is good for the Spanish to be in this concave, and it is good that they are still having a high ground advantage to the Austrians, it's really not going to commit as much. Look at this. There's a Swedish, unit of lifeguard or whatever they are, not doing anything. They need to be getting that into the fight. Even the Swedish cav are trying to. Looks like they're trying to find a way to surround. They are winning on this side. Again, more troops not fighting. I don't really know why they're not fighting. I don't get why there's this stigma of like troops not being used in a battle. In my opinion, you want to use everyone you can in the battle to help you fight. Like these troops over here, these dragoons not being brought in. Russians seem to be moving backwards now. And it looks like the actual formation, battle-wise, seems to be changing just a little, simply because down here, you'll notice that the Austrians are now pushing forward and sort of choking the Spanish, because they're going to get onto their own backs. They're going to double onto their own backs, which is not good. Lots of Spanish are going to be breaking up there in the north, and full retreat has been scaled. These troops need to be more aggressive. They need to push forward. They just need to take it. I don't know what they're waiting for at all. And look like the Swiss, either those guys must have run out of ammo, or they were trying to get into that building. Either way, it did not work out. Again, I think you need to be trying to win the line battle first, then worry about buildings. And plus, these units could very easily walk in here and engage the Spanish. A lot of falling back going on now. Yep, looks like the Swedish are beating the British back on this side. Again, the British didn't seem to do that much in this battle, besides holding the line here, which I suppose is admirable, as now it seems that, wow, the Russians are actually doing a good job of really wiping out the Spanish force, which is a bit sad. Oh, a Russian charge. Again, I'm not going to get too close to the battle, because I heard there's some lag, but I'm playing on the ultra graphics here to give you guys the best looking game as possible. Also, again, avoiding lag. Anyway, coming back over here, looks like again we have a lot of line battle. Not too much going on. Again, I'm curious what this is a big cavalry force, and these troops are running. They can form square, but I still think that if you, especially if you advance the infantry with the cavalry charge, again, this cavalry needs to hook around and either needs to go into the backs of the Swiss or backs of the Swedish.
This building has fallen to the enemy.
Into the Spanish on their lines themselves. That's where it'll be key, not necessarily attacking all these squareable units, because that's not going to be helpful. And again, Austria, move forward. I don't know what you're doing. Forcing the Swiss to fight this battle. Now granted, the Swiss are running out of men. I don't know if there's been some targeting, mainly because the majority of the majority of the Swedish army is over here fighting the British, which again, the British are holding. And I think that this is definitely looking in favor for the British-Russian alliance. Because yeah, you see how the Spanish are now having to fall back to these troops. Wow, I'm really surprised that the Spanish weren't able to achieve victory. I really thought the Spanish were going to have that side. Yep, and now they're forming up. Okay, they're ready. Again, what's Austria doing? Austria is finally moving their troops and not going to advance. Looks like they're actually going a different direction. Probably because of this artillery. Makes sense. I'm not too surprised about that. What really needs to happen, and I think this has to come from Russia and Austria, is a cav charge. Either at the general or, because if you look, the artillery is actually routing. Or at least they've broken. Oh, there's an artillery strike. Where's that artillery coming from? Is it from the Spanish artillery? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, they're actually totally attacking the Russian cav. Yep, so these troops need to move. These troops will definitely need to move. Yeah, and over here, it looks like they got defeated. Really interesting. Yeah, because while there are troops returning, they have a British troop over there. They have some grenadiers. Oh, well, the grenadiers will mop up any mess over there. Which means now they're really getting flanked. Again, if you want to look at this this mini-map here with me for a second, I want to use the mini-map more, actually. Now, whatever these troops are, they need to be moving up into the battle unless they're artillery, in which case that's a lot of artillery. And in which means either there's a range issue or these troops should be down a lot faster. Now, these Austrian units seem to be coming around. I'm not sure why. It might be for support. Maybe they think they're going to lose this middle battle. And then these cavalry, I don't know what they're doing. They become a full circle. The cavalry are not going to be as useful, actually, which is a bit of a shame. So they really need to either just come in here and like just cut them in half, go down the middle, which would then make sense why these troops want to be here to really push hard in this flank. But again, I'm not too sure what they're thinking. Now, what I want to know is what are the troops that are over? Oh, well. Oh, it's these guys, the artillery. That's what it is. Alright. So again, these troops need to move up and really should be firing at the Swedish. Looks like some advancing from the Swedish up against the British, who are deciding to advance on their own. Again, just continuing this around, lots of shooting. Oh, look, here we are. Okay, this is what I think is going to be the useful part, is when the cavalry charges in, because otherwise, the Austrians, they're taking their time. They're not advancing as fast as they should be. They're moving lots of their army around, which might be good to bolster the middle, but you're giving time for the Spanish to set up on the hill. Even with the artillery
We have killed their general, sir. Now they must break.
Even with the artillery there, I feel like it's a bit of a risk. It's a bit of a risk. Oh, looks like there's a lot of low morale over here, so that means we should have some breaking. Pretty soon. Yep, Swedish forces breaking to the British guns. These British are breaking, though, so fairly even battle, actually. Fairly even. If I was the Swedish, I'd just hold on to this high ground. I would try not to retreat if possible. Again, the Swedish are doing a good job. These Swedish forces need to move forward. And the Spanish also. They need to advance on this position. Now, if you look at the hill, it's actually fairly even, but again, the Swedish are not at the crest of the hill. Again, I think some advancing needs to be done, actually, in order to help keep this line intact. So you can see there's a lot of problems here. Oh, now here comes the Russian cav. This is what I was waiting for. Meeting up with their Russian lines. Look at that. So these cavalry went all the way around the whole battlefield to get to here. That's incredible. That is some epic cav. Let's see, what seems to be important here. Oh, so this Austrian troop, such low morale for having 100 men. Maybe they should go stand near the general. Maybe they need to be near other troops. Oh, I see. So the Austrians are coming to, as I had predicted, they're coming to help bolster the middle, because the Spanish are clearly beating the Swiss. But I think Sweden's about to oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute, you guys. Sweden's actually making a comeback here, defeating the British. They must have charged in some units here, because now these British are getting completely flanked. This battle's not over yet, not by any stretch of the means. Just one unit here holding. Seems to be Spanish troops again returning. That could lead to a counterflank if they're not dealt with, though. Looks like the Russian cav is doing an excellent job cleaning this up. Too much of an issue. Yep. I've never seen a completely surrounded donut here. Look at this battle. God. It truly is an epic sight to behold. It really is amazing. Troops moving forward. I'm trying to see if there's any chinks in the Swedish defense that the British might exploit. Or the Austrians actually could do. But it looks like they're holding pretty well. They kind of are lacking generals, though. Because I've noticed that I don't see any generals on the star map, or on the map. I apologize. Nor have I seen, really, I mean, all 4 generals for the Russian team are still alive. So morale is great for them. They're doing awesomely wonderful on that. So they're completely enjoying that, but they're not going to be having nearly as much fun with, dealing with the fact that they are doing an uphill battle. So I think ultimately this is still a balanced battle. Slightly in favor of the Swiss. Swiss not really advancing. They're kind of pushing their troops around. I feel like this is a little bit of a mistake. If they pushed in mass, these troops can only target so many. And if you have a lot of troops concentrated in one part against long stretch out lines, while the long lines will hit lots of units, the actual unit health themselves of each individual crunched up unit will not be depleted as quickly as their men, and the casualties of that army will be spread out throughout multiple units, whereas this one's taking really the brunt of the fire. And I see, yep, this area is going to break. And while the artillery is firing, again, targeting that cav, I think, which again, this is a hard push. I'm not saying this is impossible. I think right here, the British need to be pushing and attacking the backs of the Swedish, because they are getting a, look, you see how on the map, like now it went from being a full encirclement to a bit of just a parallel line where there's escape route, which is not something that the British and the Russians want to have happen. British troops were coming over to help aid in the battle, and now, yep, they're doing what I thought they would do. They're climbing the hill. Climbing the hill always going to be a good idea. Lots of troops. Austrians not really doing that good. They're kind of on 2 fronts. Not the best. Again, I think that the lack of aggression from Austria trying to push forward, and the fact that the Swiss are redeploying their whole army to kind of block this counter, I think they need to push up the middle. It is tough, and I don't know where their cav is at. They could bring some cav to charge. It's not like the opponents have very much cav to quickly redeploy. Battle far over. As the Spanish stand their ground, looking line. Now I've lost track of which Spanish army is which. I'm just going to say that they're, this half of the Spanish is one army, and these Spanish are part of the second army, probably. Let's see, is there any chinks? Is there any place where someone looks vulnerable? The Austrians actually taking a bit of a beating over here. Not really getting the, maybe the support they need? I don't know, the general is right there. So, you think that maybe the general would help and fire, but again, normally edges, the troops who are on the edge, tend to lose morale a little bit faster because they're not surrounded by units. These guys must be getting focus fire. There's also attack positions trying to. While there are troops here, I feel like the Spanish could maybe stretch these lines out a little bit more, which seems crazy. But considering the way these are going to break, the Spanish could have a way to actually advance. Oh, these units aren't doing anything. These units need to move forward. Oh wait, no, they're firing. Okay. As long as you don't want to have troops who are idle, not fighting the battle. And it looks like the Spanish dragoons are moving over. See what? Oh. Looks like the British are falling back. Is there a charge going on? I hear some sort of a charge. I'm looking around. Oh, there's some breaking cavalry. Russian charge. The Russians are charging into the Spanish, taking lots of hits. Yeah, Russians might not want to be doing that. I'd maybe send in cavalry first, even if there is Swedish cavalry. Oh, they're still breaking. Yep, and these guys are going to move here. Form square, please, infantry. They're not forming square. Very interesting idea. Looks like the Swedish here are fighting the Swiss with cavalry, but the Swiss cavalry seem to have gotten out. Spanish cav trying to retaliate. Going to run into those routing Swedish units. So that'll be a little rough, especially since, those infantry units can't form square. The battalion can. So actually, this could get pretty rough. I think this cavalry is going to die. That's the reality of the situation. Not like it's a huge loss, though, for this Oh, wow, wait a minute. We have Russian cav swarm coming into the Swedish lights. And we have a Russian square here that's going to hold the line. Looks like this is where the area will break. This is where
Our men are
apart.
running, sir.
Even though, oh, wow, actually, those lights held, the Jaegers held the line. These British should really turn and open fire on these to wipe them off the battlefield. British troops now forming up. The United Kingdom 52nd foot. Going to be much more useful. Yep, this is, I think, where it falls. Because even though there is some minor conflict over here of troops breaking. Oh, wait a minute. The Swedish are having to pull troops over here to the other side of the hill. This is the perfect time for the Swiss to be advancing forward. And again, trying to encircle. Honestly, I'd ignore those dragoons. Like, the dragoons are not going to do that much. You have, you know, even if these guys can't necessarily all form square, what you would do is, in order to protect them, you just run everyone into the square of the unit that's doing square. Now the Swedish cav seem to be struggling. Oh, what's this? A Swiss cavalry charge directly onto those light foot. That'll break them almost instantly. Yep, and they should just continue the charge to these troops. I'd hit them next. Not as these guys are far more important than hitting these cav. Looks like they're actually pulling away. I think he could have easily killed them. Oh, they died anyway. Oh well. Looks fine. Oh, Swedish pushing forward, pushing downward. Again, just line battle holding, line battle holding. Oh, Swiss cavalry pursuing, trying not to let them return to battle. This is a pretty chaotic fight. I would not want to be the defending players in this battle. This looks just incredible, honestly, to see all of these troops. Good formation. And the Russians, again, charging these Swedish. Swedish look like they're pretty much going to be out of the battle. What's up with these units not moving? I get... Oh, okay. Never mind. They were dealing with this cavalry. Now they should move. And there's a unit back here of Royal Corps. Even if there's only 40 of them. Troops are troops. They should bring them up. Cavalry getting out of there. Doing cycle charging, I think. Not a bad strategy at this point. But I think it's a little unnecessary to have that much micro. And again, they're just falling back to... is that the top of the hill? Essentially, that's the top of the hill. Again, lots of troops going to be running away. As the Russians are now hunting down routing units. Ooh, that shot might have actually hurt some of their cav. And these Spanish lines, while they are actually winning, they're going to get defeated pretty quick here without some morale of any general, actually, to support them. Yeah, looks like the Swiss are, in fact, finally pushing forward. Thank goodness. The Swiss should really have been pushing a lot sooner. I think that they kind of dragged out the battle a little bit doing that. These Austrian troops can get out of this building. They don't need to be there. The buildings, as far as I know, aren't worth any points. Especially since I'm considering how many there are. Good amount of shots here from the line. The troops are falling back. Austrians now good concave. Good concave. As long as they can still open fire, I suppose that works. Ooh, these Swedish are actually doing a really good job against the Austrians. So yep, here comes the hammer. The hammer is right here. This Swedish force
Our men are running,
British troops. Yep, mass routing here. I'm surprised there hasn't been a bigger chain rout already. Again, this battle still not over. 15 minutes left in the battle. You know, I really thought this was kind of a one-sided battle, but I feel like the Spanish could actually, if their troops hang on there, they could actually take over a full flank because of all this routing. Oh my goodness, actually, hold on, guys. Hold on, everyone. Well, maybe the British will save the day, but actually, I think there's a way they could come back. If they're able to defeat, what the Spanish need to do, yep, they need to move over and they need to put a wall right there and defeat these troops over here and then sweep around. That's like their only hope, I think, with Spanish army. Otherwise, they won't make it. These units are pretty healthy, morale-wise, not unit-wise. This is pitiful. 63, 59. Although not as bad as, the 43, 64. Yeah, these troops should totally be circling. I think Spanish players are not really focusing on them that much. Yep, they're breaking. Move forward. Yes, move forward. That's what you should be doing. And these troops are falling back. I don't know if they really need to fall back this far. They're falling back a little too much, especially if you know that the Spanish are going to need to be getting this flank. I think maybe if you just kind of drew a line like right there, you'd probably be okay because of Spanish troops pushing around, especially since, oh, look, an almost completely fresh unit of, like, troops. I don't know much about the Spanish troops, and I'm not going to try to pronounce their names, so I don't know what the quality is of such. But yeah, look at that. He's actually getting wiped out. These troops are moving finally. Probably moving some extra men. Jaeger's opening fire. Can they hold? Maybe. They still have one cavalry unit left. We'll need to use this wisely, because, you know, the cavalry on both sides is almost completed. So one cavalry, like I've said. Ugh. Sorry. I apologize for yawning. One cavalry unit can change the entire battle. Taking out that artillery might be useful too. Oh no, Swedish cav. Oh wait, no, not Swedish cav. Who's routing? Some Swedish unit is routing. Yeah, what is the Spanish doing? They need to go over here and keep pushing. Why are they bringing... Oh my goodness. The disorganization is just unfortunate. Yeah, but the Spanish unit doesn't need to be here. Even if there are like 2 Swedish troops, that's not the majority of their problems. They need to be on this flank killing units that are, yeah, dropping instantly. Much better. Look at how the morale can't keep up. Finally, the Swiss are coming to aid their Austrian allies. It might be a little too late. Oh, and the Spanish still have artillery. Whoa. That kind of changes things. What is up with the organization? Yeah, the British and the Russians, what's left of the Russians, kind of pushing forward. And the Swiss, again, Swiss being the best, you know, troop they have. Now it went from a full surround to more of just a pushing match. But I don't know if I'd necessarily say the Spanish are out of it. They're really doing a good job on this line. You can easily still swing around. Again, they have all these troops. Where are they going? Even if you are attacking those 2 Austrian men, I don't know. It seems like a little bit of a waste. Yawn. Because the Austrians are not really advancing with these troops. Not really utilizing them. Kind of more just falling back. And the Swiss are too slow. I don't know, guys. Maybe I'm kind of rooting for the Spanish now, because I think the Spanish could really do this. Again, Sweden, again, they're just kind of all hunkering down here. Oh, and look at this. See, the Spanish are circling around. Oh, no, but here comes the Swiss, actually. Swiss should be able to deal with the Spanish here. Those Russian troops, British troops, are not really going to have that much of an impact, I don't think, on this side, at least. Oh, wait, but Swedish cav is coming around. Are they going to commit their Swedish cav to get behind the British? These units can form a square, though, so I don't know that I'd want to send them over after them. Oh, looks like we got some cavalry charging. Can these troops warp square? No. These troops can. They're running up to try and help. I fall these men back. Who are they charging? Them? Well, those guys can form square. Yeah, that seemed like a terrible cav charge. What were you going after? Not much. Not much. Now these troops need to swing in. The Spanish needs to be more aggressive here. Oh, what? The Spanish are charged. Did I miss? I think I missed something. Somehow, or maybe they just retreated, but the Spanish and the Swedish, oh my goodness. Making a comeback, even with no general. That's what's impressive. I think that's where they'll... So this might come down to quality of units. The Spanish certainly have good quality units. The Swedish holding their own on their flank. Besides these troops here, which could be a problem, which, yeah, sure, have some men behind to defend, but again, move faster. Yeah, good. These guys need to be pushing forward. Wow, I feel like I'm actually playing the game, because that's kind of how it feels when you're watching these sort of things. What are these guys doing? These rifles? Nah, they're not going to last that long. Sorry, what was that? I heard a cannon speaking. Oh, Spanish cannon. Right. That will also be a big influence on them. Oh, look, cavalry coming around the back. What do we have? This is an incredible battle, guys. The Spanish cavalry are now moving. Or not, the Swedish cavalry. No, where are they going? Why aren't they attacking the back lines? Well, they're going after that artillery. But these units can form square, so not a good idea. But still, I would keep them around and just hang them back. Looks like the British are either charging or just trying to get the Swedish to use up their ammo. But this cannon looks pretty vulnerable to these Austrians over here. I'd be careful. Although they are closing in. The Spanish. Oh man, that's why I like the Spanish force so much, because they're really just doing a good job. Look at that advance. Is this British troop even doing anything? Oh, whatever. The charge from those British troops will not help at all. Yeah, that Spanish can easily continue in advance. Swedish in the middle. I think this is one Spanish player and this is another Spanish player. I think they're separate. I don't think it's all one guy. I don't think one player's been wiped out or anything. What's this? They must have run out of bullets. Grenadiers, but these units aren't shooting. Like, not really. See how there's a bit of these guys who aren't shooting? You really want to make sure everyone's angled to be shooting. Where are these guys going? Charge. Well, I'm not sure you want to do that. Even if they are grenadiers, yep, see, they got shot to death. They won't get into melee, but it means they can. Oh my god, look at that morale loss. Crazy. Alright, good. These Spanish are, as soon as that one breaks, they'll loop around. The Spanish are firing at these Austrians. These guns turn around. Nope, they're just continuing to support up here. I'm surprised how much it's turned around, especially with Russian cav that were so useful before, now seemingly useless. Oh, looks like the British have more reinforcements coming. So, not quite over yet. Oh, uh-oh, looks like they're breaking. These Swedish troops are going to charge at the Austrian general. Or not. They're trying to leave. Kill the general. Kill him. Or no, that's not a general. Is that a general? Oh, that is a general. It's the general's bodyguard, though. He died. Okay. Whoa, Spanish charge. I would not have done that. I don't care how much you're winning. I would not have charged. They better just be trying to reform, because you could really lose a lot of morale charging like that. You actually would do better just lining up behind them and getting a double team flank. Or, yeah, heck, charge your cavalry in. These units cannot form square, except for maybe those battalion, but the battalion of Valesians, whatever they are. Yeah, there they go. The Spanish are lining up to shoot. Much better. You'll hurt morale much more firing onto their side. And this unit's about to be gone from the Swiss. Wow. See, this is why you don't give up in Napoleon. You fight till every last man. Do your best anyway. Sometimes things happen. You get disconnected from the battle, or, you know, you have one guy with like 2 troops. If you have almost nothing, you know, you can leave if you want, but every troop matters, and this is why you don't give up, especially when you're being rushed by hordes of Russian cav. I think the Russian player would have done a bit better if they'd used it. Oh, wait a minute. No, the Russian cav are just hanging out. Or no, that's infantry. Yeah, no, this is not good. Troops are breaking. I think we can pretty much give this battle to the Swedish and Spanish alliance. And I really appreciate that, because this, I actually think it's really cool that the Swedish and the Spanish won, because the replay was actually given to me by the Russian player, so, or was passed out by the Russian player for everyone to look at. Quite slaughter. Oh, I'm sorry, what's this? Swedish troops returning to battle, and there are British troops. Hold on, guys, this might not actually be over. Well, I don't know. It is pretty bad odds. Ooh, yeah, a chain route? That's not good. I think that pretty much determined the battle right there. It's like a movie. But it is about to be a giant mosh pit. Yeah. Incredible play. Doing a good job to hold that hill. That hill really was the most valuable thing that they had. That's the reason I think why they won, is because they had that hill. They took the middle. That really is key. Also, I don't know.
Our men
the Russian cav did wipe out one army, so I guess it's a fair trade. But maybe the Russians could have done better if they had just brought a regular army and fought 1-to-1. I don't know. Do not know. Oh, it looks like Spanish troops routing. Oh boy. Crazy fighting. Now, I won't say it's over yet, because I just realized, one, there's troops over here, two, there's our functional artillery, very healthy. We're just opening fire on that whole section, unless they run out of ammo. Very well done. And that's why I like these battles, and I'm always down to play with anyone who wants to play a game with me. I do find the strategies quite interesting. In my opinion, they're not always the most optimal. I think I see some really effective stuff. Oh, look at that. He's charging his general when he doesn't need to. That was actually a horrible idea. Why would he do that? He has the artillery. You can win on a canister shooting. I don't care if you're trying to stall for more artillery hits. You should have left your general back and switched to canister after they get closer. Just started attacking. I don't know. Alright, these engineers, they're the last. And they're very exhausted, very tired. That's why they're running so slow. These engineers are the last stand to this entire force. I don't even know where they're going. Just running to be shot. Here comes the charge from the Spanish. The cazadores. Good melee battle. And I think this cannon's all that left, so I don't know. I guess the one good thing is the game will end in a draw in 4 minutes. Good artillery shots. Some Austrian troops still hanging in there. Oh, look at that. There's some Austrian troops. Bit of a small charge battle. Oh. Good shots, but I think the Swedish will still win. Oh wait, they're breaking. Interesting. And breaking the Austrians. Okay, so the Austrians are broken. This army will now advance onto that artillery position. I don't see any other troops left, so we're just gonna look at it from these guys' perspective. They are Swiss. So I say we sit back and enjoy the show, because this is it. Not much of a strategy you can talk about here, other than don't move anything. Just open fire. Getting some good hits, but I try and aim at those guys in the front first, just because those are the ones who are going to really hurt you. The artillery certainly have done a good job, I'm sure. Canister shot going down. Oh, look at that! Look at that carnage right there. Breaking troops. Wow, could the artillery actually hold? That is an interesting question. Though they are charging. I don't know if I'd want to necessarily charge at this artillery head on. I'd maybe try and turn around and surround them, just to double ensure that you don't lose all your men from a chain morale, or sorry, a chain rout, because that would not be easy or fun. Let's see what we got here. What can they do? I am curious. So let's see here. Maybe the artillery will actually get a volley off, or maybe they did a reloading glitch because they don't seem to be firing anymore. Switching to canister. Oop, that'll probably be it right there. Let's watch this last charge go down. Oh! Hit. That was a really good last shot before they died. Oh wow, they're actually breaking. Hold on. There's one artillery piece left. Will they get a final shot off? This one won't, but will this one? Or Or when we get engaged melee with all of them engaged melee. Let's see. We get one final artillery shot. Oh shit, they're actually breaking. Amazing. I think it'd be absolutely incredible if this artillery held the line. Fire! 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 Counting lots of kills, but it just wasn't enough. Wait, but they routed. Oh my god, they routed. Quick, reload the gun. Yeah, they should be their artillery should be breaking now. Alright guys, well, I guess we'll just wait for the score screen to pop up. Hope y'all enjoy this game. I enjoy this game. This is my first time watching it. It was incredible. So I guess I'll say thank you to Ted for sending in this replay. He did get a lot of kills, but it wasn't enough to win him the battle. Again, that was the Spanish player who got the most kills there. Let's see, what did that cavalry? How did that cavalry do though? That's what I'm curious about. Did their cavalry get lots of kills? 186, 146, 229 from a cav unit. Very nice. 274. Good indeed. All right. Well, anyway, of course, congratulations to everyone who played the game. Hope everyone enjoyed watching it as well. Hopefully, you got some sort of tactical advice out of all that. My own personal insight. And as always, I'm Elwirfy, and I'll see you guys next time.